Hello, beautiful human being. How goes You're such a beautiful life? I've had quite a beautiful morning, had a wonderful conversation with my brother Jay. And last night, it was my third time, but second time really performing with a jam band, or just like another band, going up there, let myself be trusting, loving, and getting up on stage and just having fun, sharing that good, beautiful energy with just people, with life. For me, it's a when I allow myself to go there and trust myself fully, that's the reaction I get from the audience, and it's very beautiful. It's very connecting. I just feel like that's a gift that I get to give. So let's start off with what's a gift that you feel like is the gift that you really want to give others, like the value deep down that you feel like you can really give to others. And then how much do you go and lean into that gift in giving that gift? Because for me, that's one way that I found one of my deepest purposes in life is to think about that. It's like, how do I want to give my value? And it made me realize I was giving quote unquote value in a lot of ways that I didn't really deeply line up with. Like they didn't jive with me. Wasn't my place in my life. And so I started to let go over the years, and brought me her. So hello there, life. Nice to meet you again. I'm looking for. Oh, right there. It is the 13th. 26. Okay, so here's our quote for the day. Mindfulness is a quality that's always there. It's an illusion that's there. It's an illusion that's there's a meditation and post-meditation period, which I always find amusing because you're either mindful or you're not. Richard Greer. Again, with the pronunciation of names, I do my best. I like that. I deeply believe in that. So it makes me think of like the base root of meditation that I found, and it's from Buddhism. And my meditation is to be present, just be where you are. A lot of times people confuse meditation with like still meditation, which is a form of meditation, but that is not the end all for meditation. So it's as simple as, for me, being here. Am I here with where I am? When I'm listening to music, am I there in the music? If I'm distracted somewhere, am I observing that distraction? Am I allowing myself to be in that? That's meditation. It's willingness to accept and experience life as it is, even if it's extremely uncomfortable, or the opposite, if it's very comfortable. Just melting into that experience. One thing I really find in that to be helpful for me, mantras, is, I've said it before, is I want to be here. And you're beautiful. And what I mean by that is, like, if it's uncomfortable, I recognize uncomfortable, you are beautiful. I know it's hard for me to feel that right now, but you are beautiful. You are part of my life, so therefore you are beautiful. Like the universe put you here, you are beautiful. It sounds and it rolls off the tongue and is easy when one is in a state of loved. It's a connection point for many things. Oh, I want to give you a moment. Okay, then we're going to go into, I'll just read it as I do a little coffee pouring here. I'm grateful for pleasure slash enjoyment for, let's just focus on pleasure. I'm grateful for pleasure for. Now, what are you grateful for pleasure? For me, immediately what comes to mind is it's shown me things that I've been scared of. So showing. And why do I make it for that? Because those fears then allow me to let go in their power. It's power that I'm not accepting in my life, emotion or whatever that's there, stored energy behind it, blocked energy. And so when I allow to open myself up to that fear, to walk in it, to be with that fear, the power then comes to me. That energy comes to me. And that's your energy. Wherever those blockages are, they're just, you're not experiencing all of your energy. That's meant for you. You deserve that. Love is a beautiful way of accessing that, unblocking it, channeling it in a beautiful way. Because people can do it in other ways. Which wolf do you choose? Second thing is, I'm grateful for pleasure, for being within everything, like for being accessible through perspective. Brings to mind, and I'll throw it in the link, is How Emotions Are Made. It's a book by Lisa Feldman Barrett. Beautiful book. It's the latest theory on how we create emotions in our internal experience scientifically. And exactly that. So what I mean by that is the perspective, being accessible through perspective. Her whole theory is we are born with a very small set of emotions, and then everything after that we create. And simplest things, if I choose to run loving thoughts through my mind, through my being, I experience love following it. It doesn't mean it's always that way, because sometimes, like for me, I can be numbed. Like I'm not feeling anything, no matter the thoughts. Like I don't feel anything, and so it's not always consciously true. And I word it that way because I do believe behind the scenes it is. Consciously we might be experiencing numbness, but I know behind the scenes we're not experiencing numbness. This is what drives us. There's studies that prove this. One of them comes out of the book, Never Split the Difference. I'll throw that one in the link too. I'm just writing the names of the authors down. So the Never Split the Difference is Chris Voss. He was the top FBI hostage negotiator. Insane book. It's about negotiating, but it's so much more, because it talks about the fundamentals of being human and emotions. And the reason I bring that book in is because one of the studies he cites in his book talks about when certain people had their, I want to say amygdala or hippocampus disconnected because of a surgery that had to happen neurologically. That's the part of the brain, and I could be wrong in those two. It's the part of the brain that processes their emotion. And so when that was severed, that connection, these people, when they went back to normal living, they struggled with making basic decisions. So the decision of going to the grocery store took them hours to make. So what does it tell us? Behind every simple decision is emotion. So if you lay in bed and you don't get up in the morning, and you're just like, ugh, like this is my day, that's emotion that's driving you to do that. If you wake up in the morning, yeah, this is the day, and you get up, that's emotion driving that interaction, that action. So that's the fundamentals of that. And so that's why, accessible through perspective, that the willingness to start leading one's mind, start directing one's thoughts is extremely powerful, because you are taking the seat of engineer and you're saying, okay, I'm going to insert my coding, my conscious coding. And the best that I've learned for myself is conscious love coding. The loving words. Like earlier this morning, I've been doing this every day. It says, you're like this, universe, do you love me? It says, oh, I love you. I love you so much. That's why you're here. I want you here. So there are these simple truths that I like to lean into. I say truths, they just make me feel good. It's like, I'm not doing anything wrong by doing that. People might be like, oh, you crazy. Hey, people get to feel my love. And that is cause and effect. The reason why I get to share and be a conduit to love and beautiful energy is because I allow myself to go into this play mode where I receive it. Or if I'm not in the play mode already, I do a meditation. I sit there with myself. I allow myself to be patient. I start acknowledging where I am. I practice radical. I just practice self-acceptance. It doesn't matter the adjective, radical acceptance. I just start being there. And that then brings me to a state of love, because I clear the passageways. I start lifting those blocks away. And it's obviously metaphorically, or not literally, but not. It's like we got our internal experience. So it's like I can share this. But it's like what happens for me is all internal. So I think I know it's relatable. Last one. Something to be shared. I love that we can share pleasure. And the simplest thing could be, it's like, I can share just a smile with you. I can share good energy with you. And then beyond, I can go have a beautiful sexual experience with someone and share that pleasure. It's like, damn, I feel divine. I feel fine. Like, that's just beautiful. Like, we get to create life. Like, we get to be a part of creating life, or just experiencing pleasure. It doesn't need to be a creation of life, I respect everyone's beliefs in that. For me, it's just like, I choose to really layer off things. I'm not doing anything wrong by enjoying pleasure with someone. My upbringing was that sexuality was very shamed, suppressed, and seen as this thing that only happens in the bedroom to procreate. So I've gone the opposite of that. It's like, as long as I'm being respectful with the partner or partners I'm with, and there's love and there's kindness, beautiful. When it starts becoming disrespectful, no, I ain't for that shit. So, yeah. How are you liking the jazz? I had a visual in my meditation this morning. In my visual, I'm going to Jazz Fest in New Orleans in like 2 weeks. Or actually a week, on the 20th, so 7 days. And I really want to go and perform at one of these jam sessions. Just want to say that, putting that out there. I want to share that beautiful energy. Just like, if I can just get it out there, freestyle, do whatever. I'm learning so much about how to channel that energy to express that and be that conduit. And surrendering to it. Love teaches me so much there. Love guides me, and love makes it easy for me to do that. It makes it easier. It's not always I say easy. It ain't easy. It's the willingness to, be radically accepting of where I am. So if I'm not feeling loved, I then choose to bring myself to a state of loved. Where might I lean into forgiveness of self or others? Where might you lean into forgiveness of yourself or others? Something that comes up for me is the willingness to show my negative emotions with others. And so I think that's more towards the self. Is I feel like there's a part of me that feels like it's wrong to do that, and I've been working so it doesn't feel as wrong as it used to. But I just, like I say that, I just say I'm sorry. That's okay. You can share that, and just going through that process. I'm sorry. It's okay. You can. I'm sorry. It's okay. You can. I forgive you. There's something that just feels nice in it. Because I know there's a part of me that's like holding on to that. Even around the sexual energy that I was mentioning before about my upbringing. And it's okay. I'm sorry. I love you. It's more than okay. It's beautiful. I forgive you. It's something I don't even know, but energetically I feel it. And so I choose to trust that and not need to have an intellectual understanding of what it is that I'm going towards. It's just like, I'm pulling you. Ooh. I think a reason why too is like I've judged people, and I probably still will. And then when I mean that, like shame judged, as if I'm better than them. I saw my parents, saw lots of people and I did that too, like expressing negative emotions onto one another, just dumping them onto one another with a lack of emotional accountability. And you don't want to do that. I did it. Eventually I got to a state where I'm like, nah, I want to be emotionally accountable. I want to be emotionally accountable, and I don't want to, I don't want to dump my shit on other people. And it's like, I've built that within myself, and then there's still that part of me that's like, fearful. So that judgment of others, what I've learned is when we judge others, that judgment then is reflected back onto ourselves. And so that's what I get to confront, is that judgment I put onto others. Now it's like me confronting that, because there's a part of my emotional self. It's like, no, you can't do that. Even though it's like, I know I'm not. It's fascinating. And so I just have patience. It's okay. I will be here, and I will admit and take accountability for where I've quote unquote wronged or done wrong or whatever, and accept that, hold that space, be sad, be grieving, whatever I need to do to help myself be free. Like, yeah, I can do this. So can you. We got a lot of love. You got so much love inside of you. Yeah. Just gotta let that shit in. Be like, ooh, I got a beautiful heart. Ooh, open the fucking door and that shit just slides in. Okay. I'm proud of myself. What are you proud of yourself for? Look at you and your beautiful self. I'm proud of myself for going to last night's open mic And it wasn't like I wasn't feeling any love, because it's a spectrum. I was explaining it to my brother this morning. So imagine this pen being the spectrum. And so it's like over here we have like 0 love, and then over here we have like 100% love. Just an idea. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but in the spectrum, it's like the more, I don't know if there's 100%. What I mean by it is, I've just continued, my experience of love has continuously expanded. I thought I hit 100%. It's like, shit, then comes tomorrow. So I think that 100% is more of, it's an expanse. So today I'm me, and tomorrow I'm tomorrow's me. And so I learn, and so that expands that experience of love. And so that's what I mean, is that 100% is not, there's no fixed state of the all. The journey is it. And so on that spectrum, going to the open mic last night, I would probably say I was probably like at 60% or something. I don't know, 40 to 60%, somewhere in there. Because like one thing I notice is my fears. I think I mentioned before, is like those fears. Like for me, it's like the feeling of my value, my knowingness, my emotional connection to what my value is. It's diminished when I'm not in a state of like on the high side of the love spectrum. When I'm in that high side of the love spectrum, all of a sudden I recognize my value and I'm excited to give it, and it's empowering and it feels good. And the fears can still be there, the anxiety can still be there, but it doesn't bother me. It's like, oh, I see you. It's okay, you can be here. Sometimes I say that, sometimes it's like, move, bitch. Yeah, but nonetheless, the love, like, it just, lots of beautiful room space. Finding the vibe I want to serve. Now, let me pose that question to you. What kind of vibe do you want to embody and serve? I find that willingness to servitude, it's like when you choose to serve something bigger than yourself, it's very empowering. It's God, or, and so, or any big causes, any deeper beliefs. And so a vibe can be that thing that you serve, different words to mean something very similar. So for me, it's love. It's the love vibe. I want to, it's given me so much in my life. It's taken me from feeling deeply broken to feeling the most special that I can feel for myself. And it is, and so because of that, I feel indebted in the sense that I serve it. Taking care of this wonderful, magical temple of love. With some good heart emojis. And let X and out, X and out. Doing this today will bring more meaning into my life. What can you do? What 3 simple things can you do today to bring more meaningful value and meaning into your life? Always start out the same. That good old consistency. Just like, okay, doing this today, that's going to be make it offering to home. I want to put learn. I don't know what that means, but it just popped in my head, learn. I want to learn something about home today. Number 2, I gotta go and I got some other vehicles I gotta work on. I got a step van and a water truck I gotta post for sale, so, and I gotta make a phone call. So free. Say thank you for life moments. Thank you to life. Flash the all. And then last box, I'm curious about what you curious about. Thompson is free will. Me and my brother were talking about free will a little bit. What is free will? You know, because I do believe I'm fascinated by it. I'll say this is like, I choose to believe that I do have free will, and I'm curious and willing to be challenged in what and how I exercise it. And so for me, meditation helps me then exert free will. Awareness of self, of life, helps me exert more free will. You know, the simplest thing is like noticing, oh, I do this pattern. Where does that pattern truly root from? Is it like, can I just cut it off and it'll never happen again? Or am I willing to go and figure out, okay, this root's from here, so therefore now I do this, so let me go and take care of that root. So for me, my deep thing of free will is learning to love myself, emotionally heal and help myself, and then that frees me up to be who I'm meant to be, to fulfill my destiny. And so it's a simple thing. So it's like, I don't control what my destiny is. I believe that's, I don't want to say it's already chosen, but in some way, yes. It's like, I didn't choose this life. You know, I don't think I chose death. You know, and so therefore it's like, that's the limitation. So that's like, my free will is, do I choose to fulfill my destiny? And I think I mentioned that before, so I'm just going to go on that. I'm curious about trusting the calm before performance. And what I get to express. How the mind can go in many directions. And the mind can create ideas of how the performance is to go, yet when I surrender, it's always beautiful. And I think my understanding of the reason why it's always beautiful for me is because I've chosen to listen to the heart within myself, listen to my soul, to exist respectfully in life. And I put a lot of work into that in myself. And so that's my understanding. Like, when I really let go, it's like everything that I've worked on within myself gets to shine. And so if I spent the last 10 years of my life being an asshole and I let go, I think the assholeness is going to shine. You know, becoming beautiful is effort to be beautiful every day. You know, beautiful for me is respect, you know, love. Like, those are two components of that. It's like, do you think you're better than other people at like a human level, like a spiritual? Like, do you literally think that other people are garbage? Like, do you step on other people to make yourself feel better? For me, that's not beautiful. You know, that's ugly, and I say that respectfully. It doesn't feel good. Like, that's the feeling I get. Like, no. And so that's my subjective thing. So it's just like, you know. But I do believe that. And so when I meet people that are like that, like, I try to point that out to them, because I don't think people realize they're being ugly. I think that's just something we learned. It's a defense mechanism, trying to protect the heart. Then on to the next page. I notice. What do you notice? What's your favorite music? Like, what do you love to listen to? What brings you home? I notice calling Ingrid and Josie yesterday before going into the bar where the open mic was to be vulnerable and share. I was in a state where I didn't feel loved. And asking them directly or indirectly can you love me? As I told Josie, it's like, how can you love me? And it's just so nice. It's like that willingness to surrender. But okay, I don't, you know, there's never, more love is more love. It's beautiful. It just brings you higher up on that spectrum. And so, like, by the time I talked to Josie, I already brought myself to that state where I was in that love state. And I still accept that. I can ask, hey, can you say that you love me? You know, it just fills me up. It brightens that light, you know. One thing I notice is when I feel I'm going to refer to it as a power, energized. Love is a form of energy. When I notice in the energy, energized, I can get excited to the point where I don't listen. And I get a little self-centered. that's something I just got to be mindful of. It's like, it feels really good, and I'm just like, I want other people to feel that, and then I have to realize, okay, like, it's not my responsibility to make other people feel good. I can share, that can be a beautiful inspiration or transfusion of that, but it is not my responsibility. And I think that's part of what drives that self-centeredness, is like, I take that on, and so then it's like, but then it feels selfish. I feel like, because I can feel it. It's subtle. It's like all of a sudden I notice it. I'm like, oh shit, like I'm overly excited. Where it's like, I'm like, I just want to share all this stuff with you, and I don't really want to listen to you. And it's like, no, I do want to listen to you, but sometimes I get to this place where that energy, that energized state, pushes me a little bit into that I'm better. And it's just being mindful that, no, it's like, I just have to hold myself, be grounded, just exist there. When I breathe with that, it helps. Just taking a nice breath and noticing that I'm there, and it's grounding. It grounds that energy. And so it's not sporadic. I become in tune. I'm in tune to my friends, to myself. I love this exploration of life. You are loved. You're here. Duh. So at the bottom of this page it says, create certainty and leave room for uncertainty. One thing last night I realized, and I was doing that at the other open mic I was at, is certain things, and I asked the artist this yesterday, I was like, what helps you to that state of flow? And for me, what I've learned is, what he was saying was other people. So when you're paired with someone, you have good chemistry, you can bring that out. And so there are many things that bring one to that state of flow. For me, probably my number one is love. Because love is respectful, it's kind, it's in tuned, it's in sync. It's a willingness to be helped or help. So it's that give and receive. Let's see where I'm at time-wise. I always get to this point where I'm drawing, and I notice I feel a little pressure with the, I don't want to just stretch the video. So maybe it's just my own stuff. And so this time I'm just gonna finish up here, and I'm just gonna do the drawing and finish it up myself. I want to be a little more free in that. I'm just laughing at myself because it's like, it's just me here. You might be watching the video and it says stories, but I'm okay with that. I go through my own process. Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna end that here then. Wishing you a beautiful day. I'll give a suggestion. If you want to feel more loved, if I want to feel more loved, put on some like soothing music without lyrics and start saying compassionate, kind, loving things to yourself. Do it, and I challenge you in this. The suggestion is do it for like 10-15 minutes. One thing I do, and I did this yesterday, is I put my recorder on and I record myself, like self-therapy. Imagine if I was a therapist giving therapy to myself. Whichever way you want to frame that. But do that. Put some music on, get your recorder out, and just start being compassionate with yourself. And do that for 10-15 minutes. You'll be surprised. One thing I notice in that is like, I'll start noticing that the energetic like rise. And there are moments where it's like I can doubt it. It's like I'm starting to try to control. Just let it. What I've learned is let it. Find myself the freedom in it and express that. I know it doesn't. I know that might not make sense. I don't know. It makes sense to me. I'm still learning. Because like I find moments in that. It's like before I would get to a moment, and then I would like try to grab on and try to control something, and it's like. No, I gotta let myself be in there. That's what gets me there, is like letting go. Letting myself just be present, letting myself be there. Not holding on. If someone hurt me recently, or I hurt someone, it's cloggage in that. And so it's, maybe saying it out loud. One thing is just saying it out loud. I'm sorry. Going through that process of like, what would that apology like, or receiving that apology, what would that look like? And so whatever blockage you might feel, go through that. Allow yourself to process. Think of what is the right thing in those situations. That emotional processing will lead to that state of lightness, that state of love. Beautiful day to you. Enjoy wherever you are. Enjoy you. The most special thing that you will ever be given is you.